It's going. I just want to make sure that it's going.
What up?
We're
back.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome back.
It's episode 3, dog.
So excited to do this.
Magic number.
Again. 3 is a great number.
It's a magic number.
It could be. Period.
It's a song.
Really? Oh, 3 is a magic number. It's at the end of, I know it as the end of...
If you only know it from the end of No Way Home, that is sad.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Have a great night.
It's a Schoolhouse Rock banger.
Oh my gosh, I was just talking to someone from the choir about Schoolhouse Rock, and I only know, like, I'm just a bell. And what's that other one?
Interplanet Janet.
No.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh my gosh, I want to be Interplanet Janet. Shut
no,
up.
No, you don't.
All right, guys, it's our 3rd episode. We're so excited. I'm so pumped.
So
again. I just realized that every time we get here, I'm going to be full of serotonin because we're going to talk about stuff. So, Mike, you want to tell everyone what you've been listening to recently?
Sure. So, in the 2 weeks since our last episode, I went to a vinyl event.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I got like 20 vinyls for $70. It was a steal. There was one album that I could not find. It's very niche, and that is the soundtrack to Howard the Duck.
What's that?
It is a movie from the 80s. Howard the Duck is a Marvel comic character, and it's about a duck from another planet who comes to Earth and befriends a rock musician.
You're so cool. That is so cool.
And the soundtrack is really good.
Oh my gosh.
The movie is horrible.
Dang. Wow.
But I got that. I'll save the other vinyl I got most recently for Center Stage.
Cool. Are we going to tell them about Sesame Street Disco or no?
We're going to tell them about Sesame Street itself with the funding.
Yeah, for real.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
I did listen to the Sesame Street theme song today, so I would consider that a recently listened.
Nice. Slaps.
As soon as I saw the news, I went, Molly's going to be so sad about 4.
I know. I also like sing a song.
Yeah, that song rules. The disco version's really good too.
They made a disco. Is it on?
It's on the same album.
Guys, I actually have to listen to Sesame Street Disco. I've only listened to Disco Frog. So, BRB. That'll be a separate assignment that I make for myself.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
I grew up watching Sesame Street. I grew up watching a lot of PBS. Like Curious George. Come on.
Was,
Dragon Tail.
Clifford? Was Clifford on there?
Yes.
Dang. I can't think of any other ones right now.
Zaboomafoo.
Ooh.
One of the best theme song intros of all time.
Zaboomafoo. With the Crack Brothers. While walking in the woods one day, Chris and Martin saw something strange.
What the heck?
Reading Rainbow.
Was Between the Lions?
Yep.
Oh, guys, Between the Lions.
We're losing a lot of cool stuff.
I'm Cliffhanger, hanging on a cliff, and that's why they call it Cliffhanger.
Don't remember that one.
Cliffhanger, hanging from a cliff.
That was from In Between the Lions.
Oh, okay.
And one day we'll have like an extremely long episode, and our episode it'll become
right
a 2-parter. And that will be at the end of one of them.
I thought you were going to be like, we're going to record and then it's just going to edit really shitty at the end. And we're going to be like, hey guys, it was a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Although I will be able to listen to Sesame Street Disco. I do own the vinyl.
Because of a mishap with my birthday, which also happened in the 2 weeks.
Yes.
I turned 25 and I feel really old.
Oh, no. Oh, I have a song for you to listen to about that then.
About turning 25?
About being in your 20s and having to deal with the idea that you're getting old when...
Is it Adult by Sasha Alex Sloan?
It's not.
Because that song's really good.
Informed. It's 20-something by SZA.
That one I have not listened to.
It's good.
I've listened to SZA. We went over that last episode. But I don't know that song.
It's an earlier song.
Okay.
Yeah. What you watching?
Watching. I've been catching up on the Mission Impossible movies for the new one coming out on the 22nd. Even though I've seen them before, I've been rewatching them.
I have not ever seen Mission Impossible, so...
Any of the 7 that are out?
No.
I think you'll like the 4th one for unspecified reasons as of right now.
All right.
What have you been listening to recently?
I have some one-off songs that I've been really enjoying. Someone to Call My Lover, I officially hit peak on that song 2 days ago. I listened to that song, rough estimate, 7 times in a row, and it hit every single time. I was driving. It was awesome. Janet Jackson was there for me at a time of need. Enough said.
Cool.
A new song that I got on my phone recently, I forgot where I heard it. It's called Swimming Pools by Francis on My Mind. It's cute. I actually think you'd like it. It's just a vibe.
When I heard the name of that song, I thought of Walking in the Rain by Funk Mammoth. It's Florence Pugh's cooking playlist.
Oh my gosh. Florence Pugh, if you're out there, we love you. Guys, I haven't really talked about this yet on the podcast, but I'm really into Aretha Franklin. I love her.
Respect.
Period. And there's a song that I must have heard somewhere, and I downloaded it on my phone at least months ago because it was on a playlist that I made where I just put random songs, and if I want to branch out, I go there and see if I like any of them. But it was a cover of an Aretha Franklin song, and then I found out today that it was actually by Aretha. And now I feel like such a fake Aretha Franklin fan. You should go listen to it. It's so good. Another song I've been enjoying is Back to Your Place by October London. I thought that was a Marvin Gaye song, and then I found out, no, it was his song, and he made it 3 years ago.
What's going on?
I thought that it was a song from the 70s, and it's not.
Mm.
A song that came out 3 years ago,
Word.
which gives me a lot of faith in musical humanity, because it was great. Other than that, I've been just putting my music on shuffle, and I've been really enjoying it.
Mm.
So I normally don't get to do that because, like I've said in the past, I'll just listen to one album over and over and over and over again.
Until you know all of it, and then you go next one.
Yeah. So
Mm.
it's nice to actually listen back to some of my stuff. Like Olivia Rodrigo came on. Haven't listened to her in a while. So that's what I've been listening to. For what I've been watching, I saw We Live in Time for the first time. Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. I thought it was great. It was nice.
I still have to watch it.
Without giving anything away, not that there is really anything to give away, I wouldn't really go see it with another person.
Because the ending is a bummer.
Yeah, I also just think it's also just one of those movies that you just take in on your own. I don't know, I
Yeah.
feel like someone else's, yeah.
Cool.
It was a good movie. I would watch it again.
I do trust Andrew Garfield.
They're so good together.
Well, yeah, the intimacy coordinator looked into the corner while they were filming a scene because Andrew and Florence didn't hear him yell cut. And they were like, in it.
And you know what? If they become Endgame in real life, I would die. Just saying. I support them in that. I was telling Mike right before we pressed record that I have watched this one movie twice in the last 2 days, and he has yet to find out what that movie is. It's Ready Player One.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I, for some reason, like that movie so much, and I don't know why. If it's based off of a book or something else, which I know it is, sorry, don't know what you're talking about. But once I found out
You
that...
gotta read the book.
Yeah. But once I found out that Sinners came out on Easter, and
beat Ready Player One.
yes. And then I was like, you know what? I should watch it again. And I watched it recently, but then I would just watch it again. I don't know, guys. Something about like something about it, I guess.
Can't do it.
It's okay. And then I know this is a music and movies podcast, but I finished the show You, and I rewatched the entirety of The Summer I Turned Pretty in preparation for the final season coming out in July. And that's about it, other than a movie Mike and I saw together. Mike, do you want to give us our movie news this week?
Sure. It's actually a mix. I have some music news too. I know. So, point number 1 of Center Stage. The trailer for The Smashing Machine came out.
Scary.
It's not a horror movie. It's a sports biopic.
Oh, sorry.
So it's a sports biopic about Mark Kerr, an MMA fighter from the late 90s, and his struggle with addiction as he rose to fame and his reform period / rehab.
Wow.
But Dwayne Johnson is playing the lead in a ton of prosthetics, and you can't really tell it's Dwayne Johnson unless you look closely. But even though it's about fighting and like he has a wrestling background, it feels like he's not being typecast for once, and I'm excited.
Nice.
Because he's not sweating in the jungle or driving a sports car. He's doing a movie that's like a return to roots kind of, but not him. It's directed by Benny Safdie, who I love as a director. He did the movie Good Time with Robert Pattinson in 2017. It's very good. It's about
Nice.
a bank robber who's trying to save his disabled brother from prison. He was also the director for Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, which had a lot of heat behind it for Oscar season, and then nothing happened.
Oof.
And everyone was like, dog, what? Adam Sandler cooked on that. And it was kind of sad. He was also a star in Oppenheimer, and he's soon to be Agamemnon in The Odyssey with Christopher Nolan.
The Odyssey, as in like
Homer.
Donuts.
wow.
It just feels like it's going to be a very good biopic. And
Cool.
It feels original. Emily Blunt's in it.
Ooh, Queen. I take it back. That's scary.
Yeah.
It's not scary. Although I have seen the photos of Dwayne because I was like, what?
He looks bulk.
Yeah, he looks
more
totally
than
different.
usual.
Yeah, not like Maui.
The trailer for Now You See Me 3, Now You Don't came out. I don't know how to feel about it yet. I liked the first one. The second one was kind of forgettable to me, but it had Daniel Radcliffe. And then I saw the trailer for the third one, and I was like, what are we doing? It looks like it's going to be a legacy movie rather than end of a trilogy. The only plus side besides the original cast from both movies coming back is Dominic Sessa as one of the new kids. He was the lead in The Holdovers, which has become one of my more recent favorite Christmas movies ever. My third center stage update, Molly and I saw The Thunderbolts.
Woo! We had different opinions.
Very different opinions.
I saw it twice, so my opinions are more fully formed.
I saw it once and kind of regret it.
Do you regret seeing the movie or do you regret seeing it with me?
Just the movie. We had fun.
We did!
But the movie itself, bleh.
Guys, I feel basically the opposite. Then again, he also didn't like Thor Love and Thunder, so...
Thor Love and Thunder is garbage. And I stand by that.
I know.
My initial review for The Thunderbolts is I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either.
I thought it was cute for what it was. I think that it could have been a TV show instead, but I like that they got a bigger movie, and I think the music slapped. I saw it a second time, and it hit just as hard, and I was okay with it, so not mad.
My cautionary tale about Lewis Pullman cast as Sentry, I feel validated.
Really?
He's not a superhero to me.
Oh, no.
His face and his physique, they don't really scream god superhero to me.
I think he did really good as Bob, though, and
Yeah.
showing the
That was my
highs and
favorite part.
lows.
Marvel mentioned narcotics. And
Yeah.
I was like, sweet. Never done that before. Like how Guardians 3 had the first use of the F word. Now they're talking about drugs. We're back.
All I have to say about Thunderbolts is I hate John Walker, and he was the real villain. 10-4.
I kind of enjoy him because he's supposed to be a bad person.
I like the actor.
You didn't even know that he was Wyatt Russell?
His name is Wyatt Russell, guys.
And
I
he's
found
the
that
son
out.
of Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I found that out too. Oh my gosh.
Dad is Ego in Guardians 2.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then my fourth center stage is music.
Whoa.
Dua Lipa's Radical Optimism had its 1-year anniversary on May 3rd. It's one of my top listened to albums of 2024. I had like 7 of the songs in my top songs on Spotify Wrapped. Happy For You is by far my favorite from the album because it has an airy atmospheric feel with minimalist electronics, and it's just a very chill track by itself. And with headphones, if you listen closely, there's like this very, very minor use of reverb, and that is my center stage. Woo!
My turn.
What you got?
I actually have an array, but my first one, not to mention her all the time, even though she deserves it, Gaga performed in Brazil.
Biggest concert ever.
Yes, with like 2.5 million people in
The
attendance.
streets of Brazil were flooded.
And thousands showed up for her rehearsal the night before. Like, that was not a rehearsal. She basically did 2 shows. And as a nice touch for that performance, she added new colors to her outfits to reflect. And I love when artists do that. So, icon. Also, after I left here from the last time we recorded, I found out that Katy Perry's tour started that night, the same night I was trash talking her.
For good reason.
Yeah. And she basically took a lot of inspo from other tours, which is not entirely a bad thing if you make it your own.
Was she on a lion like the halftime show?
I don't think so.
Boo.
Yeah.
Left Shark was her best attribute.
Yeah, for real.
Sorry.
Anyway.
After California Girls, he had Left Shark and then it was over.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus is apparently coming out with a new album and I had no idea until today.
Good. Some of her new stuff is really good.
I'm excited to hear that.
Jaded was one of my songs of the summer last year.
Ooh, I don't think I've heard that
It's from the same album.
Okay, cool. I also found out today that the Broadway soundtrack of Hamilton has been on the Billboard charts for 500 weeks.
It's like 10 years.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was wild. And then also, this is silly, but High School Musical 2 hit 1 billion streams on Spotify.
I'm surprised that you didn't mention Leslie Odom Jr. is coming back to Broadway.
He is, but
That's music news.
yeah. Leslie Odom Jr. is coming back to Broadway, and I'm so upset because I won't see it. But I love him. Give us the world, drop some knowledge.
Did you know the vinyl set for that is like $200?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's 6 LPs.
Wow. I will stick to my phone. Thank you.
In regards to your earlier mention about Lady Gaga in Brazil, I would like to note that I like her foray into movies. Like, very good. She did the original song Hold My Hand with Hans Zimmer for Top Gun Maverick. Kind of perfect.
Yeah. She was asked by a fan if she would think about writing a musical, and she said that if she would, it would have to be something that was years in the works, but that she would want to do it someday.
Sweet. Is it top 5 time?
It is top 5 time. Mike, you want to tell everyone what the theme is this week?
Sure.
Drumroll.
Kind of related to the top 5 from episode 1. Because this composer has done so much work with the animation studio, we are doing top 5 Michael Giacchino scores.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to see Molly's reaction to some of my rankings.
I actually feel the same way because I found out before this episode that he did some movies I didn't even know about.
I have some upsets that I know will upset you.
Yes, yep. And that's okay. And I do want us to think about, are these soundtracks good because they're him, or are they good because they're themes that already existed before him?
He adapted.
Yeah. Or did they...
Are they original score or adapted score?
And do they just sound good because they're good themes, or because of his take on them? That's also what made me think about this. So, Mike, how many honorable mentions do you have?
3? Do you have like 9?
I have 9 total. So that means I have 4 honorable mentions, but I'll take one down right now. Mike, would you like to go first?
Sure. So, my first honorable mention is Jojo Rabbit from 2019. Taika Waititi movie. Much like Thor Love and Thunder, it's an adapted screenplay. It's about a young boy, and he's a Hitler Youth in Germany, and lives with a single mother, and he has an imaginary friend, Adolf Hitler. He finds out that his mom is hiding a Jewish girl in the attic, and he has that duality of, do I support my mom, or do I support Nazi Germany? And report my mom and get her killed.
Wow.
But it's a comedy. The score. I like the score because JoJo's theme, it's children's choir in German, backed by playful flute and military drums.
Nice.
So it kind of portrays the loss of innocence to the horrors of war.
Cool. Well, Mike, my first honorable mention is actually what I was just talking about. I haven't seen this movie in years. Even though it was a great movie, I cannot remember the music, and I found out today that he did the music for Sky High. Therefore, Sky High is my first honorable.
I respect that.
I feel terrible.
That's Kurt Russell.
I know. Guys, I love Sky High. I do. I just haven't seen it in so long. Honestly, the villain really scared me as a child. So sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh.
Royal.
Yeah. And the movie is so iconic, though. And therefore, that's why it's even on the list. I know that the music has to be good. When I go listen back to it, I'm not going to be disappointed. I trust in Michael, and it's there.
I have to give an anonymous shout out. My college roommate has a thing for Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So the royal pain mention is going to be respected.
What's your next honorable mention, Mike?
My second honorable mention is 2011's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
So cool.
I know you said earlier that you haven't seen any of them. It's the first time that the Mission Impossible theme is introduced differently in the franchise. Like, it has a different open.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the theme song changed, but he has like an intro to the theme song. It also just feels a lot like the espionage side of The Incredibles throughout the movie. So I had that through line that I enjoyed as well.
My second honorable mention, it's one of those ones where I was like, is it the theme or is it what he did with it? And I genuinely believe that Michael Giacchino did Star Trek Beyond well. I remember specifically seeing Beyond, and I really enjoyed that movie. So I did also think about that when
I was obsessed with Into Darkness as a teenager.
Same, because it wasn't Benedict Cumberbatch was in that.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Hair slicked back. He was like, I can help you. And then he was like,
He had
actually,
slick back hair like Draco.
Mm-hmm. Slick back hair, man. Things are getting heavy.
So that's your number 2.
Yeah, short and sweet. Star Trek slap. What's your...
My third,
Mm-hmm.
2008's Speed Racer.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, mini history lesson.
Cool.
It is a animated series from quite a while ago, and it is about the Racer family, and the main character's first name is legitimately Speed.
Wow.
Yes, he does a lot of races, and all the cars have cool gadgets to help like win the races and take out other opponents. And Michael Giacchino did the score for the movie.
He is so versatile.
It has like a bang boom pow feeling like The Incredibles, not the espionage side.
You mean a bing bop boom 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 bop bam?
Not Kendrick Lamar. And my main note for the Speed Racer theme, besides being zippy, the man loves to give the brass section the lead.
Let's go.
That's my third honorable mention.
Period. Nice. Cool. My final honorable mention, it was tough. It was between this one and my number 5. And because I have something in my top 5 that sounds very similar to this, and that has more memorable songs of note, my last honorable mention is Ratatouille. But when I compare this French music to another movie that Michael Giacchino has done that also has French music, I choose that instead.
You.
Sorry. It's great. The theme is great.
Friends, shut up.
And you know what? I respond, my Uno reverse card to that, shut up, is Making Light from the movie that I'm going to mention later. That will put, in my opinion, Ratatouille
To shame.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, not sorry.
All
Okay.
right.
Top fives.
My
Cool.
number 5 is The Batman from 2022.
Robert Pattinson?
Yes.
Nice.
The opening track, titled Can't Fight City Halloween, perfectly introduces the brooding fear aspect and noir feel of the movie. The Riddler, like the villain theme, it's like daunting, bold vocal solo. And it's kind of just like this sinister, high-pitched siren song. But at the same time, it has like light piano and orchestra, so it introduces him as being creepy. Highway to the Anger Zone. First off, Top Gun reference, pretty sweet. Aside from that, captures the raw power of the Batmobile. And then the title track, The Batman, it has a sweeping feel to it for me. And it makes the balance of hope and tragedy. As you know, Bruce Wayne's an orphan and Gotham's falling apart around him, so he's like a beacon of hope and fear at the same time as having a tragic backstory. It carries the flowing epic.
I feel stupid, Mike. Ask me why.
Why do you feel stupid, Molly?
Because I had no idea that Michael Giacchino did Coco.
Yeah.
No idea. And I decided that Coco was better than Ratatouille, which is why I put them there. Originally, I had it flipped.
Wait. Say that one more time.
I originally had the score, not the movie. I actually
Treading dangerous waters
I
here.
actually really like the message of Coco, the movie.
Both are really good movies, but like one's clearly a winner.
I don't view it like that, though. I think they're... Guys, the face that Mike just made, I've never seen come out of his face. That was crazy. He's judging me so hard. No, I just think they're a little bit closer together than that. I don't think there's a... It took me at least 5 minutes to come up with that. So, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah.
So why is Coco your number 5?
In terms of the music, there's way more memorable themes. Remember Me. There's way more memorable themes in this movie than Ratatouille. I can only think of...
Can argue, but won't.
I can only think of the ones that they use on, like, the rides. In my opinion, there's a lot more memorable themes in Coco than Ratatouille. You could also argue because of that, those themes are the ones that they sing and such. I know that Michael Giacchino didn't make all of the music, so maybe he didn't do those and he had to implement them in the movie, but whatever. Coco's 5. That's just what it is. What's your number 4, Mike?
This is going to be an upset because it's so low on the list.
If you say Incredibles...
I am going to say The Incredibles.
Mike!
And Incredibles 2 as one unit.
Mike!
It's very low, I know.
Oh my gosh! Oh, all right.
See, this is what I'm talking
We should
about.
maybe turn that.
Or we don't yell into it.
I'm not trying to yell at the
My number 4 is The Incredibles 1 and 2. First off, this movie got no Oscar nomination for score. We're going to mention that's wild.
I thought you were saying
The score is very good,
Mm-hmm.
but I find 3 that are better. I like The Incredibles score for its mid-century feel. I have a nostalgia thing where the era of like the 50s through the 70s is like my favorite time period for graphic design and visuals and music. And The Incredibles, they both appeal to that sense. The sharp crescendo of new and improved when the Omnidroid 8.0, I think, opens in the meeting room.
Just go it.
Yeah, it gave me jump scares as a kid. And like it stuck with me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then Life's Incredible again, Undeniable Heater. It is the background track to my demo reel for animation. In credits, Too Good to Go Unmentioned.
Absolutely.
That's my number 4.
We'll be talking about this again, so
Whatever.
those are my thoughts on what you just said. I don't have a lot to say about my number 4, mainly because I don't listen to the soundtrack at all, just like watching it in the movie, and it just makes it more powerful for me, and it's Rogue One. I love that movie. I really like what he did with it, and it made the movie all the more better. Cool.
It is arguably up there with my favorite out of the franchise. So you don't see these people ever again, but you know why.
No, I didn't even know it then. I was about...
okay.
I was 2/3 of the way into the movie when my dad turned to me, and he was like, "You know they all die, right?"
Why would your dad do that?
Because he didn't know.
I'm gonna say
Shout out, Dad.
I don't want to diss your dad like that.
It became personal with me.
Mike, top three. Oh gosh.
My number 3 is Up. I should note, Molly and I saw this live. We saw a live orchestra perform this soundtrack during the movie. Molly transcended. She may have seen God for like 5 seconds.
It was an amazing experience. And we've talked about it already, but I equate that experience to jumpstarting my love for orchestral scores. So thank you, Mike.
So I'm going to start with Married Life. No explanation needed. Stuff we did, reprisal of Married Life, but I like it more than Married Life.
I support you in that.
Because it has the bittersweet context of the movie, instead of just being a depressive opening saying, hey, your wife had a miscarriage and you can't have kids. Bye. Also, she dies. But like, it sets up the movie. Up with end credits. I just know that Molly likes the flute solo.
I think it's a trumpet with harmon mute that has that solo. The solo starts with the...
I remember the flute.
The flute solo is great. That happens during that time as well.
Yeah. Spirit of Adventure, like the song with lyrics. I see it as a song about Carl's undying love for Ellie.
Yes.
And their combined dreams of seeing the world. Nominated for Best Picture, Original Screenplay, and Sound Editing.
Deserved.
And won Original Score.
Deserved.
I like it. I also have a vinyl, and it looks like the balloons.
That's so fun. Wow. I support you in that.
What's your number 3? Is this an upset?
You're not...
I'm getting like a side eye, but away from me, like, don't look at me.
Bill, look away.
Because we've already talked about 2 out of 3 of them. My number 3 is also Up.
Cool. We're on the same page.
Yeah, we are. I cry to stuff we did all the time. I always remembered when I saw the bad guy from Up for the first time, and I heard the
His name is Charles Muntz. Put
Yeah.
some dirt on the name, because he's a bad person.
He is. Carl's adventure theme went minor and went really negative. But I remember being like, oh my god, he's bad. And the music told me that before we found that out, and I really liked that. I love Up, and it's a
Up
great
loves
movie.
me back.
In all seriousness, though, I do love Up, and I just can name other songs from my top 2 more than this, which is why it sits here. 3 is a great number.
The magic number.
What's your number 2, Mike?
My number 2 is Ratatouille.
Nice!
Yep.
Cool!
This Is Me. It's like the opening track with Remy. It introduces you to the cunning curiosity that is Remy. After This Is Me, Le Festine. Rules. The English translation. Sad.
Yeah.
Words like hope is a dish eaten too quickly, and I'm used to skipping meals.
Ooh!
I just adore the delicate orchestral feel of Anyone Can Cook.
But you have never been on the Ratatouille ride, right?
No.
It slaps.
The last time I was at Disneyland was when Tron Legacy came out, and I went to Flynn's Arcade. Ratatouille received nomination for score and original screenplay. Neither of them won.
Bruh.
You don't care. Ratatouille's so low on your list.
Who did they lose to?
Someone better, apparently.
This is difficult And it's not like they're really far apart.
What's your number 2, Molly?
My number 2 is Incredibles 1 and 2.
Why?
Because they're classics. They are classics. I can't even say anything other than that right now. The first one is a classic, and I personally really liked Incredibles 2. I know a lot of people didn't, but I liked it. I liked the new themes, and I liked the end credits 1 and the end credits 2, respectively. I can listen to them both, and I listen to Life's Incredible again every time I get on a plane and it takes off and lands, because it makes me feel very calm. I'm trying to think of anything else for Incredibles. I can never get tired of the Incredibles soundtrack, and the only reason why my number 1 is my number 1 is because that movie as a whole is deeply rooted in the Molly lore. Arguably, like if my number 1 and my number 2 went up against each other for like an Oscar for music, in my opinion, The Incredibles would beat my number 1.
What if I told you my number 1 wasn't even nominated for original score?
Oh, was it Cars 2? Come on.
No.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
It was 2015's Inside Out.
Oh, I'm so glad that it's on your list. That it's your number 1. Oh my god. How did I keep missing that? Tell us why, Mike.
I actually did music composition research for this one. The high register arpeggio in G major feels so innocent at the beginning, but at the end of the movie it feels so different. That's my note for Bundle of Joy.
Let's go.
Arguably my favorite track from Pixar.
Yeah, at least top 5.
Growing Personality. That one's the one that always moves me when I watch the movie. It's the one where Riley is in a ball on the floor with her parents at the end. And then the joy of credits. It's like the reprisal of Bundle of Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there's resolution and things are different, but they're the same. Plus, it's the blind optimism of Joy saying, after all, Riley's 12. What could happen? And then you watch Inside Out 2, which I also enjoyed quite a bit. But that's my number 1.
I was kind of thinking that your number 1 would be another one of the movies that I've like never seen before.
You mean the one Pixar movie that has a Weezer track? Cars 2?
Gotcha!
Cars 2 is not on my list.
Then why do you keep pushing it on me?
Because it's a great movie and I wanted to plug it somehow and it's pushing your buttons. So anyway.
What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Monte Carlo. And I'm looking at Mike because...
I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, he knows. It's a great movie, guys.
I saw it.
He did.
In the rain.
Yes.
And then we watched Way, Way Back.
Yes.
Which is another certified Mike and Molly classic. What are your thoughts?
Basically, okay. So in my opinion, Ratatouille walked so that Monte Carlo could run in terms...
Other way around, sorry.
I understand. In terms of French jazz exploration. I'm going to drop some songs from the album that you guys should listen to. Only 3 of them. Making Light is amazing. And it's like, all I can explain it as is French jazz. And I remember listening to all the solos a couple of years ago when I was like, maybe I should become a jazz singer. And I would try and learn riffs and try scatting. I could scat listening to the song. And I learned the solos from the song. That really helped me. And Feeling Eiffel / Pairing Up. They're basically the same song. The main song that plays when Selena Gomez turns and sees the Eiffel Tower. I will be like Mike and give a little plot for people who don't know this movie. Basically, it's about how Grace, a soon-to-be high school graduate, thinks that going to Paris will change her life, basically. She doesn't know how, but that's what she thinks. And she's forced to go with her stepsister and one of her older friends. They go on this tour, they get lost. There is a very famous British heiress that, looks just like her. Basically, she gets to live her life for a week and then finds true love in that. And it's that true love trope where it's like, you were faking it, but you actually loved me. And basically, her life does get changed for the better. It's a really great movie. Also introduced me to some Micah songs. Love that guy. And yeah, I too would like my life to get changed from a really cool adventure. Not specifically from going to France anymore, but something like that. I equate that movie with like the adventurous part of my life. In a couple of weeks, I actually am going to Europe with my family, and we are going to France, and we are taking a tour of Paris. And
Croissant.
I'm very excited. And we are visiting the Eiffel Tower, and I'm very excited. I'm gonna think about the movie and play the soundtrack while I'm there. And yeah, I saw Monte Carlo when I was younger, and I loved Selena Gomez. The score really made that movie. So go watch it, guys. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I know, but for some reason that movie is actually top 5 of life for me. Cool.
That was our top 5 Michael Giacchino scores. As always, feel free to comment your preferred Giacchino scores.
And also, as always, comment down below if you think Joy from Inside Out or Selena Gomez, if they got in a fight, who would win? Do you want to tell them about our spotlight plan while we're here?
Yeah. In light of our top 5 Michael Giacchino scores, we would like to give you guys a sneak peek of episode 4, which is going to be our first spotlight episode, focused on the history and works of Michael Giacchino. I know Molly's excited. I know I'm excited to say that Incredibles is number 4 for me. Again,
Super cool dude.
he's doing the Fantastic Four in July. No further comments.
I've always mentioned him when talking about music as a whole. He's always up there in my favorite artists. So
Yeah, this is like separate from rankings and top 5s, but he is considered one of my higher ups in terms of score composition. We're very excited to give you guys that inside look at what's up to come. And we will be right back. And we are back with our reports. Last week, I assigned the album Antisocialites from Always to Molly. And because I went first with the reports last week, Molly's going first this week.
Hey, oh, let's go.
What did you think?
unlike last week, I did not write a big paragraph for music board and I didn't like rank it yet.
Mhm.
If I were to rank it right now, I'd probably say 8 out of 10 stars.
Good.
I liked it. To set the scene, I have listened to it 3 times
Good.
because the first time, did not like it. For multiple reasons, we'll get into it. Second time, it was with headphones. First time was with car.
Mhm.
Third time, with car. Enjoyed it way more than the first time. So, and that's where I am today.
Cool. So you gave it 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and that is my ranking based off of how I think it is as a whole. I like some of the other albums I've been enjoying recently a little bit more. Like, I think Eternal Sunshine would go over it. I will say, though, I still didn't fully understand the lyrics and what the lead singer, whose name is Molly, was saying. I would say my biggest con, and the reason why I needed to turn it off upon first listen, was actually the amount of like guitar that made the entire album so dreamlike. In my speakers, that was all I could hear. And all I heard was or whatever that was, and it was really taking away from what she was saying and anything else. And upon first listen, kind of like the Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, I thought it all sounded the same. And then I was like, I couldn't have listened to it once and then recorded this because I would be way more negative. I was ready to rate it like 5 out of 10 and then I was like, no. Because I've actually heard some of the songs before. I've definitely heard Dreams Tonight before. My favorite tracks, personal faves, the songs that I really enjoyed were Dreams Tonight, Plimsoll
Plimsoll,
and Not My Baby. Now, I also learned... Yes, I learned a lot of terminology because of this album.
Mhm.
First of all, I also found out that Ed Sheeran has some sort of project called Antisocial Space Lights. Pros, singer has great range, especially in, I can't pronounce the punks. Plimsoll, yes. I also found out what an antisocialite is, according to Urban Dictionary. I had no idea what that meant. If anyone else wants to know, it's a person who defies fashion randomness passively by just being an individual, polar opposite of socialite. Not to be confused with an antisocial. Antisocialites do not shun socializing, but rather avoid it, using it as a lifestyle, as socialites do. And then I also found out what a waif is. That was one of the songs. That was my least favorite song, I would say. I enjoyed every song. I would listen to it again. There was nothing I explicitly didn't like about it except for the one thing I already mentioned. The album kind of reminded me of SOS by SZA for multiple reasons. She reminds me of SZA because immediately the melodies were simple yet complex. There were different intervals in music that just means she was going from different notes that maybe wouldn't have been chosen by mainstream pop artists, which made it more interesting. But also easy to sing along to, which is always great. Obviously, I don't listen to music for the sole purpose of being able to sing along with it. Even Dreams Tonight. If I saw you in my dream, like that. Like I've listened to the album 3 times, so but still I've only listened to the album 3 times for this, and I already know that, right? So there was that. It was also similar to SZA's because I couldn't fully understand her, but I wanted to, because SZA sometimes she strings her words together, and so then I'd have to like look it up. This I couldn't really hear because of the jangly stuff, so I had to look it up, which was totally fine. And one thing I wished it had a little bit more of is I wish there were more harmonies. There were some harmonies, another singer and Already Gone. I appreciate it. Added more variation. So I like that. I just think it would have made for more variation, especially since there were other parts in every song that were the same. There were slower songs and there were faster songs, but there could have been more in my opinion, but it is what it is. What I thought was really interesting was that Plimsoll Punk's, the verses to me were more interesting than the chorus, if I wrote that down correctly. And I love that, especially the second verse. I remember hearing that and I was like, this is awesome. And I love that when things surprise me like that. They did add a couple of distortions in, for example, in the song Lollipop, the pop, 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 pop. I love that. And I wish that they had more of that throughout the rest of the album. I felt, you can definitely argue with me on this, other than the pop, 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 they just put all of the bits and bops into Saved by a Wave, which is at the end of the album. And it just felt like, oh, the album's almost over, guys. We have to put all these super cool things into one song. And I felt overloaded with that. And yeah, the last thing I wanted to think about when I got tasked to listen to this album because of Mike, he said that it was a very roll down the window album. At some point, maybe in a spotlight or a special episode, I definitely want to dive into what we think makes a roll down the window album or song. Cool.
Yeah, so that is
That
Molly.
was mine. So, Mike.
What's up?
You listened to Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. Came out last year?
Yes.
How was it?
I wasn't a big fan of Beyonce prior to this album. I knew a few of her hits, All the Single Ladies, Love on Top, Crazy in Love, Irreplaceable, Run the World, and her role as Foxy Cleopatra in Austin Powers Goldmember. But nothing stood out to me on a deeper level. That being said, this album has earned a 4.3 out of 5. This album carries the message of the empowerment and belittlement of being a black woman in America and in the music industry that is presented in American Requiem out the gates. I split this into 2 acts. The arc up and down is the 2 parts for me. So Act 1 is a variety of country, soul, and a message of legacy as an American black woman. Country music is the whitewashed result of the Southern folk genre pioneered by African Americans. As a testament to the power of that message, she does a cover of Blackbird by the Beatles, includes Paul McCartney's original foot tapping, and the song itself is an allegory to the ties of discrimination in the 60s during the Civil Rights Movement. Beyonce's foray into country music is addressed in 16 Carriages, which I perceive to be a song about the hardships faced in the pursuit of fame, as black women are historically barred from the genre of country. As the Act 1 half of the album continues, more and more notes of R&B, pop, and rap continue to trickle into the music as each track continues. This is most prevalent in Spaghetti, a rap R&B heavy track that reinforces her dominance as a performer. I perceive this track to be a message of step up to me, see what happens. I do have a bias towards Smoke Hour 1 with Willie Nelson because its scratchy radio static feel and admiration for the mid-century aesthetics appeal to me, but the songs that it scrubs through on the radio are also notable songs by black performers, such as Chuck Berry, Roy Hamilton, etc. It is not until Ya Ya that Act 2 starts for me.
Yeah.
Act 1's Levi Jeans hints at the nature of the portion of this album that I consider to be Act 2, which is connecting the Americana imagery to the expected image of black women, hypersexualized and feminine. Beyonce leans into this as an expose of the industry standard and expectation with tracks like Desert Eagle, Riverdance, and Sweet Honey Buckin'. This act feels like a subtle 180 of the Act 1 progression. Act 2 feels like it's R&B/rap heavy with notes of country sprinkled in over time until you get to Amen. My immediate perspective about this album, if it were a film narrative, was Sinners meets Anora. Sinners is about the whitewashing of black folk music and exclusion, while Anora is about a woman that attempts to break the mold and is instead reminded of her place. Beyonce carries these themes across these two acts, practically saying, "This genre was ours and you took it from us. I'm here to take it back my way." Followed by, "Oh right, I'm a black woman. Let me turn the country allegory into a graphic depiction of riding, bouncing, etc." Overall, this album was again not in my typical listening area, but I was pleasantly surprised by the progression of its arc. I do find that this album did deserve the long-awaited Album of the Year. That is my 4.3-star review of Cowboy Carter.
Tell us your top tracks, Mike.
I want to see if you can guess my number one, but then we'll go through them.
Is it like a song?
Yeah.
You don't seem like the type of person that would like Two Hands to Heaven just because I feel like you would
That's my
find
number
that...
7.
Nice. 7. Oh my god, you have the whole list?
I have 1 through 7. Which one do you think is my number 1?
I Want It to Be Tyrant.
Good call.
Is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, did you see her do that on the tour?
No.
She's riding a bull while singing it.
Respect. But Tyrant is my number 1.
Whoa.
So
Guys.
number 1, Tyrant.
Period.
Number 2, American Requiem.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Texas Hold'em.
Okay, I support you in that.
Number 4, Yaya.
Yes.
Number 5, Spaghetti.
Yes!
Number 6, Bodyguard.
Yes!
Number 7, Two Hands to Heaven.
Wow!
That is my top 7. Cowboy Carter was really good.
Yay! Wow! I'm surprised that Alligator Tears isn't anywhere. And
The
please.
one track I did not enjoy, but I still kind of like, is Oh Louisiana.
Yeah.
It feels very... I don't want to say it feels like it's off a different album, but it feels like it has the country roots, but... It may be because it doesn't sound like Beyonce. Like, it's super computerized.
It's not.
It sounds super, compressed and computerized.
What's another one of your lower songs?
I should note 16 Carriages should be in the top 7. I did want to note Protector with Rumi. I compare it to Can You Feel Me from Bando Stone by Childish Gambino. Because that song is him and his son.
Guys, I was so excited to hear about Mike's opinions on this album that I literally forgot to mention that the Cowboy Carter tour already started. She has already performed 4 nights in Los Angeles. For Protector, Rumi comes out. She's looking right in her face and saying, "I first saw your face in your father's gaze. That's a long line of hands carrying your name." With her other daughter on stage, she's basically a backup dancer throughout the entire show. I cried. I watched it at 8 a.m. I woke up, saw it, cried.
Flamenco was a little bit lower than the rest. My note was the mental struggle of wanting to feel young as you age was Flamenco. And I said, that stings. I just turned 25. Listening up until Levi's Jeans, I was like, all right, this is a lot of love ballads, defying her dad and embracing her position as a woman. And then my last note on Levi's Jeans was, this song is really horny. It became Desert Eagle. I was like, somehow hornier. Riverdance, I said, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Two Hands to Heaven, I said, horny again, getting to be kind of funny. Tyrant, horny again. Sweet Honey Buckin', I should have known from the title, very horny track. And then Amen, I said, wraps the album, begging for forgiveness after a quote-unquote act of indiscretion. Overall, repeatable album.
Nice.
Tyrant is indeed my number 1.
That is shocking, and it was really
that most of them were seamless.
I love that. All of the Easter eggs, all of the artists that she showcases in here, worked with for this album, the tour. She's only had 4 shows, and I could talk about it. So awesome. And I'm not saying that Hit Me Hard and Soft wasn't good, but I think that in the grand scheme of historical significance, including with the music actually being good, because obviously I don't think a Grammy should win if it's not good. It is such a good, well-rounded album.
Well, Yeah, that's why I gave it Album of the Year accolade,
Yeah.
because it's an expose on the music industry and
Yeah.
saying, hey, I'm a musician too.
Did you know that this project is part of a bigger
Yeah, I know it's a
plan?
3-act thing.
Apparently, she wrote this before Act 1, which was Renaissance. And it is clear that she is making it known that they are all part of one bigger body of work, because in the tour, she has tons of songs from that one and then how it turns into this one. And a lot of people are questioning, oh, which genre she's going to go into next. And it's crazy. The only song that is not in the tour is My Rose, which I find very interesting. I really liked it. The harmonies, Beyonce always does. I could say so much about this album that this podcast will be 2 hours long, so I'm really not. Know that I am severely holding myself back.
Molly was correct in saying listen to this with both headphones in.
Yes! Anything.
I also adjusted the bass levels in my car. That was our reports.
Yes.
And now it's time to dig on this.
Now dig on this.
So last week I gave Mike Cowboy Carter first, so now it's time for him to tell me what my assignment is this week. What is it, Mike?
Your assignment is a movie this time.
Woo!
It is Todd Field's Tar.
Whoa.
It is a movie about a world famous composer who has her past catch up to her at the peak of her career, and she has to try and balance the two without either of them falling apart. But it's very good. Kate Blanchett is the lead.
Oh my gosh. I love her.
Very good movie. I gave it 5 out of 5.
Wow.
I've only seen it once.
Wow.
I would love to look into what you thought of it before I watch it again.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
What?
So, my dig on this, I have so many different ideas, and I chose my dig on this to be related to something that is coming out soon that I know that neither of us want to and are not going to see, which is the live action Lilo and Stitch.
Gross.
Hate, 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 double hate.
Loathe entirely.
Mike, your assignment for this week is to watch Lilo and Stitch 2. Get prepared to cry, because Lilo and Stitch made me cry, but then Lilo and Stitch 2 made me cry even harder.
I did not cry at either.
Because
you still need to watch Treasure Planet.
I know, but Lilo and Stitch 2 it's so good. I think it's a great movie.
Word?
So
cool. I
please
was gonna
watch
give
it.
you an animated movie, and then I changed my mind and gave you this one.
Let's go. I was gonna give you another album,
You'll
and
probably
then
get an animated one next time. We'll see.
ooh, cool. I was gonna give you an album, and then I
But-
was like, I saw this in my notes.
However,
and the live action comes out on the 23rd of May, so
y'all, because our next episode is a spotlight, we will not be giving reports in episode 4.
true.
Because we want our focus to be explicitly on the artist. Even if we do have movie and music news prior, we don't want to have like segments after, because we want to honor them.
Yep. And we'll definitely announce that in the beginning of the next episode.
Yes. Cool.
What's your song suggestion of the week, Mike?
Oh, you know, we are going to put from my what I've been listening to recently instead. It is Howard the Duck by Dolby's Cube featuring Cherry Bomb.
Whoa. Cool. Mine is actually a song that I've loved for a long time. It ended up being an assignment for my R&B vocals class last week. So that was great because I already knew it and I was like, all right. It is You Send Me by Aretha Franklin from her album Aretha Now. I love that album in general. I also have to say, though, that Sam Cooke is the original creator of this song. This is just her version of it. Well, Mike, that was very interesting.
Yes, we were both pleasantly surprised by our album ratings.
Yes, he was gaslighting me. I really thought he didn't like it.
I did.
I really believed you, too.
Even though it was Lady Gaga that did Poker Face, I did my best.
Nice. And you know what? Mike Wazowski won bracket battles.
He did.
If you guys have any ideas for bracket battle options,
Yes.
let us know.
Cowboy Carter tracks would be
That
a
would go
crazy
crazy.
bracket. Check back in next episode with our spotlight on Michael Giacchino, famed composer, notable works mentioned in our top 5 this episode, and we look forward to seeing you joining the 4M.
And Michael, if you're listening, we love you.
Yes.
And those of you who are listening on Spotify, follow us on Instagram. Those of you who are listening on YouTube, we're also on Spotify and also Instagram.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Yeah, yeah.
Adios.
Yeah.